Coming up on the Evening Report, a man pleads guilty to fraud after a money scheme. Also, the Brentwood Academy headmaster denies that the school failed to respond to a rape report. And eye doctor shares some important safety information about that total solar eclipse. Coming up. And it is August 10th, 2017, and from the Lozano Press Newsroom in Nashville, this is Nashville NewsOne, the Evening Report. I am Larry Lozano, and here are your top stories. A White County man pleaded guilty in federal court on charges of wire fraud and money laundering after a $43 million investment scheme. Jeffrey Gentry of White County admitted to the scheme that left a financial loss of $10 million to more than 50 victims, including his customers, friends, and family members. A majority of the victims were residents of White County. Gentry was the owner of Gentry Brothers Tractor Supply. He was a well-known and longtime member of the community. He promised investors that they would receive high returns on contracts he was bidding on and winning in order to supply farm equipment. On Thursday, he appeared before a federal judge with about a dozen of his victims in court. No one wanted to appear on camera with Channel 5, who was doing this report, but a few said they're now more worried if they will see any of the money they lost. The scheme lasted for 4 years before the Sparta Police Department referred the case to the U.S. Attorney's Office. The case was also investigated by the IRS and the U.S. Marshals Service. The Marshals Service has the task of seizing Gentry's assets and liquidating them. In the meanwhile, Gentry will be sentenced at 2 p.m. on the 27th of November. He could be sentenced up to 40 years in prison. That report brought to you by Matthew Torres of WTVF Channel 5. And on this next story, in a strong rebuke, the headmaster of an elite private Christian school at the center of a lawsuit which alleges 4 students repeatedly sexually assaulted a 12-year-old student, is firing back at the accusations, calling some untrue. Brentwood Academy headmaster Kurt Masters, in his statement Thursday morning, did not refute the specific claims, saying they would be addressed in a formal legal reply filed in the near future. The attacks were alleged in a $30 million lawsuit filed in Williamson County last week by a student and his mother. At least 4 8th-grade students in 5 separate attacks assaulted and participated in the rape of the 12-year-old 6th-grade student during the 2014-15 school year. The first attack happened at an after-school football game party in 2014. Then in January and February of 2015, 4 male students and others conspired to engage in male-on-male sexual harassment, sexual assault, and or rape upon John Doe in the locker room not supervised by an adult, according to the suit. Masters and the school declined to provide any information in response to a Tennessean request for dates or documents showing when the school learned of the alleged attacks and if those were reported to authorities. That report brought to you by the Tennessean and their reporters, Dave Boucher and Anita Wadwani. In our next report, we are seeing that Metro schools and their 7th graders don't have required vaccines on file. 3 days into the 17-18 year, Metro Schools says that more than half of 7th grade students have not yet shown proof of immunization. According to the district, there are 4,168 7th grade students enrolled. Of those, only 2,174, or just over 52%, are non-compliant. Today is the official notice date, so they will have until Wednesday, August the 16th to get their immunizations. Beginning on Thursday the 17th, students will not be allowed to school without proof of immunization. The law requires parents to provide an updated Tennessee immunization certificate with proof of 2 additional immunizations before starting 7th grade. Those shots include the tetanus, diphtheria, pertussis booster, and the verification of immunity to varicella. Students can receive the needed immunizations or obtain the updated certificate if they have already had the immunizations from their doctor or, if eligible, from the Metro Public Health Department. The department clinics are open from 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m., and those are from Monday till Friday at Lentz, Woodbine, and East health locations. So check that out if you do need your 7th grader to be in compliance for this school year. And as we continue on with our news reports, a Crossville police canine dog has received overwhelming support from the community and other law enforcement agencies, as several hundred paid their respects to that canine dog that was killed in the line of duty. A memorial was held Thursday for Canine Kane, who was stabbed to death last week. Crossville Lieutenant Brian Eccleston said to Fox 17 that canines and law enforcement agencies from all over the state were present at the memorial. Eccleston also said the show of support was overwhelming for staff members, and it will be for some time. Kane was assisting in the apprehension of a suspect who had reportedly stolen a semi-truck. The police dog found 28-year-old Dustin Lee Dixon in the woods, but the dog returned with several stab wounds. He later died at the hospital. Dixon was being held at the Cumberland County Justice Center on several charges, and he could face more for Kane's death. And as we continue on with our stories, we've got the last story of the night, and that is about the eclipse. We've got some eye doctors that are wanting to share some important information about the total solar eclipse. We're less than 2 weeks away from that eclipse, and ophthalmologists cannot stress enough the importance of wearing approved eclipse viewing glasses. Damage done to your eyes cannot be treated. They say the best treatment is prevention. If you're looking up at the sky, you need to have your eclipse glasses on, says the ophthalmologist from the Vanderbilt Eye Institute, Dr. Nathan Padal. You want to be looking down. Place them on, then you can safely look up at the sun. What you're going to see is a mild orange glow. Before you take them off, direct your eyes away from the sun, and you can safely take them off. That's some advice, again, from Dr. Padal of Vanderbilt Eye Institute. You have to be in the path of totality, which not all of the metro area is. So you need to look at a map to make sure you're in the path of totality, and then look at the narrow window of the total time of totality. If you're sure of those things, then yes, you can view the total solar eclipse for the totality of about 2 minutes without your solar eclipse glasses. If you do stare at the sun during a partial eclipse and suffer retinal damage, symptoms may not show up immediately. Those symptoms include watery eyes, blurry vision, or developing blind spots. Dr. Ming Wang at the Wang Vision Institute in Nashville says even with approved viewing glasses, do not stare at the sun during the partial eclipse. Instead, look at it for a few seconds, then look away. When it comes to your pets, Wang said do not chance it. He recommends keeping them inside that day. They too can suffer retinal damage. On August 17th, the Wang Vision Institute is offering a free educational seminar about the total eclipse. All attendees will get a free pair of solar sunglasses. And that is it for Nashville NewsOne, the Evening Report. I am Larry Lozano. This is our first night as an official newsroom, so it is pretty exciting in the background behind me. We've got kids and everybody's partying, and we're having a great time celebrating the first night of Lozano Press's new newsroom here in Nashville. I am Larry Lozano. Again, this is Nashville NewsOne's Evening Report, and we thank you for listening. Have a great night.